welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing something super special with you. I have decided, or I decided a while ago, to reopen my brand, my nail polish brand, Pampered Polishes. I was in business for a couple of years there. That's kind of where I started my nail polish loving. So I had a brand, and then when I got pregnant, I decided to close down for a while. So I am restarting my brand. Everything is going back up, except on a different site. So I did decide to kind of start off with a bang, and my first collection consists of 6 neon polishes filled with a shimmer, a flaky, holographic elements, all of the good stuff in these neon bases. When I wear neons, I don't like having to use a white base though, so I did formulate these to be bright on their own and completely opaque in 2 coats, 1 to 2 coat for all of these. So I am going to swatch them without a white base. I do have swatchers who have used a white base in their swatches in case you're one of those people who like to have the white base under neons to give it just that little bit of pop. So these polishes are based off of my favorite 80s movie, Times At Ridgemont High. When I think of neons, I think of 80s, I think of beach, I think of summers. So I felt like it went really, really well together. So in the description box below, I will link my new site as well as my lacquer Instagram page, and I will also link my Instagram page where I will swatch all of the polishes in this collection. So there are 6 polishes in this collection, and they will retail for $9.50 a piece or for $52 for the set of 6. I do have a new bottle shape. They are the rectangular bottles. They hold 13.5 mils, which is a mil and a half smaller than like a standard OPI bottle, but it's not that big of a difference, but they are 13.5 mils. So I do have 6 bright, beautiful neons filled with flakies and hollows and shimmers and glitters. So let's go ahead and get started. So first we have He's a Little Prick, and this is a bright flamingo pink neon with a green shimmer, and then this contains 6 different forms of UCC flakies and then a scattering hollow as well. Here's our first coat of He's a Little Prick, and I think this goes on really nicely. It is very smooth. It's not too thick, not too thin, but as far as the formula spectrum goes, I would say that these are a little bit on the thicker side. Those flakies do tend to thicken the polish up a little bit, and I wanted them to be more opaque. So here's the second coat, and this does cover completely in 2 coats. Depending on your preference and application, you might be a-okay with just one. Per the nature of neons, this does dry down to a matte finish, so if you aren't fond of that finish, you will want a nice glossy top coat. Nothing in these should stick to your nails to make removal difficult either, but it will dry slightly textured due to all of the flakies in there. So there is 2 coats. Up next we have Danger Is My Business, and this is a bright neon nacho orange shade. This also has the same 6 UCC flakies, all of them do. This also has a scattering hollow and a blue shimmer. Here's our first coat of Danger Is My Business. And across the board, these are pretty much going to have the same formulas. I will say that this was my original formula. I did add a ton more flakies to the other batches, so the rest of the swatches that you're going to see from other people are going to have a lot more flakies than mine do, but it also doesn't help that my camera won't pick up dark and light, so it looks like it has less than it actually does. But this does cover completely in 2 coats, and it's also going to dry to that matte finish that neons dry to, so a nice glossy top coat. Again, nothing in here should stick to your nails to make removal difficult, so you don't need a peel off base coat or anything like that. I also didn't have any staining with these across the board. They are pretty pigmented, but nothing that should stain your nails. So there is 2 coats. Up next we have Aloha Mr Hand, and this is the yellow of the collection. This is a bright highlighter neon yellow shade with those 6 different UCC flakies, the scattering hollow, and then this one has a red shimmer. Here's our first coat of Aloha Mr Hand. Again, this has the same formula as the rest of them. In my opinion, I don't think it's too thick or too thin. I did put it on the thicker side though to make it more opaque and to make them not need that white base. I do think these are nice and easy to use. I think the flakies distribute pretty evenly, that you don't have to do any kind of manipulation on your nail either. For me, this yellow is completely opaque in 2 coats. There were a couple of other swatchers that did need 3 coats for this one, so bear that in mind that this is a 2 to 3 coater depending on your application and your preference. I did want this one though in particular to not need that white base, but if you do want a little pop of like brightness more than it gives off, you will want a white base here, so there is 2 coats. Up next we have Righteous Bucks, and this is a bright avocado green neon. This also has the same 6 UCC flakies. This also has the scattering of hollow, and then this one does have a blue shimmer to it. Here's our first coat of Righteous Bucks. And again, I think this goes on really nicely as far as the formula goes. I don't think it's too thick or too thin. It's, again, on the thicker side of formulas, but it's that thickness where it's not going to run or pool on you, especially if you use a white base coat, or I'm sorry, a base coat in general. It shouldn't run or pool in general, though. So here is our second coat, and for me this does cover completely in 2 coats. Again, you may or may not opt to use that white base. It will give it a little pop of brightness, but nothing too like drastic of a difference. Again, you're going to get a lot of flakies out with this one. Nothing's going to stick to your nails or dry textured. It is going to dry just a little bit dull, so a nice glossy top coat to finish this one off as well, or a matte top coat if you're really wanting those flakies to pop. So there is 2 coats. Next up we have Hey Bud Let's Party, and this is a bright neon blue with those 6 UCC flakies, the scattering hollow, and then this one has a green shimmer in it. Here's our first coat of Hey Bud Let's Party. I do think that this one would be the thinner one of the collection as far as formulas go, but I don't think it's thin by any means. I just don't think you would have any problems with thickness or anything like that for this one. I also wanted to note, since this is a blue, that I personally didn't have any staining here. I didn't want to put so much pigment in that it would be an issue. So wear a base coat either way, because blues do tend to stain people, not in particular me, but I didn't have any staining with any of these. So again, this does cover completely in 2 coats. You will want a nice glossy top coat just to make everything look nice and cohesive, and it does dry to a satiny matte finish, so to make it just be nice and glossy, a top coat would go well here. So there's 2 coats. And then lastly for today we have No Shirts, No Shoes, and this is a bright purple shade. It also has the same 6 UCC flakies, the scattered hollow, and then this one has a red shimmer to it. And here's our first coat of No Shirts, No Shoes. This one has the same formula as the previous one, Hey Bud Let's Party. It's not as thick as the other ones. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm having to explain myself. I'm so sorry. It's got a good formula in my opinion. No running or pulling or staining or anything like that here either. Again, you do get a good amount of flakies out without having to do anything crazy to the bottle. I did add more flakies to all of these for the release though. So this does cover completely in 2 coats. Again, it does dry down to that matte finish, so if you don't like it, you will want a nice glossy top coat to finish this one off as well. And I think the shimmer in these, for being such a bright shade across the board, like for all of them, I feel like the shimmer in them does stand out well as well. You do lose some of that hollow, but it will appear in the sunlight. So there is 2 coats. I wouldn't like to pick a favorite from my collections when I do share them on my channel, but Righteous Bucks screams my name. I love green, I love neons, I love flakies. I love this shade. This was the first one that I made from this collection, and I'm in love. But I also do, of course, love Aloha Mr Hand. The green and the yellow, they're kind of my thing. So, of course, I like all 6 of what I made. I wouldn't put something out that I didn't personally love, but these are standouts for me. And that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of my re-debuted collection. Let me know if you plan on picking any of them up and what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time.